finger death punch or whatever they're called.
We got your shot at tickets to Sunday's divisional battle all week long by showing us your purple preset. Set KFAN as a preset on the iHeartRadio app. Screenshot it and post it with hashtag KFAN purple preset to your social media. And make sure to follow and tag KFAN as well. Winners will be DM'd this Friday. Get the full rules at KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Just a quick note in regards to spread swing picks, just in case you guys know, I know you're into statistics. Andy Reid coming out of a bye week, lifetime 22-4.
Not surprised.
Denver's in trouble.
Boy, they sure didn't look good last week. They looked, I mean, I know Sean Payton's trying to pull out magic out of a hat with Bo Nix, and Nix did not look good, but they managed.
That would be rabbit out of a hat if you're looking for the right cliche.
That's
not magic
the right cliche.
Out of a hat, it's rabbit
out of a hat. But
or maybe he might be better off trying to pull Pandora out of her box.
Yeah, that's true.
Or the cat out of the bag.
Denver
or the genie out of the bottle.
Genie out of the bottle. Yeah. Whatever it might be.
This has been well established. Mm-hmm. You would not trade Anthony Edwards or Victor Wembanyama in a million years. You would not trade Anthony Edwards for
Kobe Bryant in his prime.
Oh, Kobe Bryant in his prime.
I never said that.
You would not trade Anthony Edwards for Chet Holmgren. I'm going to ask you another question.
No, I would not. Definitely.
I'm going to ask you another question.
Okay.
Would you trade Anthony Edwards for Joker?
Probably.
55 points last night.
Yeah.
He's the first player in NBA history to average a 35-point triple-double during Denver's 6-game winning streak.
Yeah.
He's shooting amazing. 60% or better across a 6-game stretch. He's averaging 35.8 points a game, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists while shooting 73.9% from the field and 55.6% from three-point range. These are numbers that are jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
Astonishing, as you said.
Yeah, they are. They are. He's special. He's here Saturday night, too.
Yeah.
And for whatever reasons, the Nuggets do not have much success against the Timberwolves, despite that player and those stats. The Wolves are playing,
because we have Rudy.
Well, they're playing back-to-back games. The Wolves are, Sacramento, I think tomorrow. No, it doesn't matter. But Denver's here Saturday night. And I'm glad they have a quality opponent to play at home. He just keeps getting better and better. The way he can manufacture shots and people draped all over him, and he knows how to maneuver his body in a way for a big man like that to draw lots of fouls, which to his credit. I mean, he knows what he's doing time and time again. But he's got everything. He's got the whole game, whole package. I watched a little bit of the OKC. It was boring. I mean, OKC just ran the Lakers off the court last night. The Lakers are, they didn't look like they belonged on the same planet.
Well, that's because the Thunder, we talked about it yesterday, they are the epitome of professionalism.
They are.
They treat every game as if it's a game 7. They play hard start to finish. They play defense. They rotate 10 players. They're unselfish, and they play defense. That's the way you're supposed to play. Other teams should look towards the Thunder and say, this is what we strive to be. One other note on Joker, because you talked about, back-to-back for the Wolves.
Well, it doesn't really matter.
Well,
in
no,
that context,
but you bring it up. Everybody does. They always want to, back-to-back.
Well,
Joker was playing the second night of a back-to-back last night. Just so you know. So everybody knows that playing on the second night of a back-to-back, he put up the numbers that we just passed along to you, and he scored 25 of Denver's first 39 points in the first quarter. So this should just hopefully be another further evidence that those of you in the basketball community that want to, whether it's fans or media, or maybe players themselves, that want to make the excuse of, it's back-to-back nights, and we had to travel across the country, and we had an elevation change in my body clock and my circadian. Didn't seem to hurt the Joker.
Well, I think a lot of players actually enjoy getting into a rhythm. I mean, I think if anything, the Wolves,
I'm with you.
Had 3-4 days. I think they had some practice days, which doesn't hurt because you don't get many of those in the course of the regular season. But it's just another example. I mean, Denver's 9-2 of just how impossibly tough the Western Conference is. You said OKC's 12-1, Denver's 9-2. The Spurs look like they're going to be in it for the long haul if they stay healthy. They are 8-3. Houston's a good team. The Lakers and the Timberwolves are pretty much matched up 8-4, 7-4.
Golden State's still a good club.
They're still, they can be dangerous. They haven't lost at home yet. They're 7-6. They're not playing well on the road, but the battles for from I guess the 4th through the 7th seed, whatever it might be. You got to keep up with the Joneses, and in this case, and then, the bottom feeders right now. I mean, and we saw it cost Nico Harrison his job. Dallas is just having a miserable year, 3-9, and the Pelicans. I think I don't know, was it Zion or someone said, why don't they just move the team? There's nobody here, even in the Lexus Club seats. There's nobody here. Nobody cares about this team. Well, they're 2-9, and it's a sad state of affairs when things go south. I mean, you look at some really bad teams in the East. Washington, I don't know if anybody pays attention to basketball out there. They're 1-11. Indiana's 1-10. Brooklyn's 1-10. They have 3 teams that have won a total of 3 games. And you think, well, no wonder you get to beat up on the Oswalds, as you like to say, in the East. Those teams are awful, and they're probably not going to get any better. If you have them on your schedule right now, Indiana's the exception. Maybe they'll get healthier, but man, that's just a dreadful 3 teams that are playing in the Eastern Conference right now compared to anything in the West, other than, as I said, maybe the Pelicans. The Wolves are, they're in good position. I still have some questions about their point guard situation, how they're going to move forward, and kind of,
What are they?
What
are they going to do?
They may not do anything. I mean, I think it's, Connolly, I mean, everyone's in pie in the sky type of thing, with the Wolves being in a position to try to trade for Ja Morant. If he indeed is going to be on the block and he's kind of worn out his welcome in Memphis. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be too keen on trading a Jaden McDaniels, that's for sure. I think he's just figuring it out even more and more. He's a force, and I don't know what the Wolves would have to give up. Obviously, probably Dante DiVincenzo and one of the young players, and they got to get some big players back to get Morant. And would it work here? I mean, I don't. I mean, he's an extremely talented player who's kind of just, I said, worn out his welcome and had off the court issues and all the other stuff that's going on. But he's he and Ant in the backcourt would be scary to watch. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think the Wolves could potentially make another trade to get another role player in here. Might help them in that area, but yet to be determined. Still so early in the season.
I just missed your when you were raving about the Pistons. I went,
yeah.
They won again last night.
I know.
They're 10-2.
And they deserve all of that. I mean, it's fun to watch a team like that that's been downtrodden for decades. I mean, ever since, the Bad Boys, almost. Cade Cunningham, and I don't follow them that often. I don't see them play. Hopefully they'll get some more national attention as the season goes on, because I hope that, that's the one thing that the ESPNs, and they fall in love with the same teams over and over and over again for national television, going, hey, show some of these other teams that are playing well. We know it's the Knicks, and we know it's the Celtics, and they're playing 500 right now. And yeah, you never get tired of watching OKC. But last night I had it on for like 5 minutes, and it was like, this is not even a game against the Lakers. But I'd love to see the Pistons on national television and just see what they're about. But good for them. They've managed to turn around. I don't see any signs of them slowing down. If they're
I got a nickname for them.
What's that?
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys 2?
Bad Boys. What do you think? I kind of like
Brilliant.
that. Thanks.
I think it'll stick.
I thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
The Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Got a name.
That was
And
a team.
I also have a name for the Flyers. Broad Street Bullies.
God, I remember that team. I covered that team when the North Stars played out there. I take all the sports atmospheres I've ever been at, including, speaking of Philadelphia, I mean, covering the Vikings-Eagles game, where the behavior of some of the fans was beyond outrageous. But when you went to a Flyers game at the old Spectrum, and the North Stars, I was early in my career, and they had Dave Schultz.
And you've had a hell of a career.
And they had these guys. That's when you had the literally bench clearing brawls, and it wasn't like today. I mean, they ran out of slap shot where everyone would drop the gloves, including the goalies. And I remember the North Stars did win a game there in a playoff game, but it was hostile as hell. I mean, I've never seen an atmosphere like that since for a sporting event, especially in a closed environment.
Were you afraid for your own safety?
No, but I wasn't going to be wearing my credential with Minnesota on it.
Really?
Around? No, hell no. And
You should have been proud.
And then the other place that was, I mean, just the neighborhood itself. When you went to the old Chicago Stadium when the North Stars would play the Blackhawks back then, and they would just tell you, if you had like a rental car, don't park your car around here because it won't be here when you get back. So you'd have to either take some form of public transportation and that was just the whole South Side. That was the whole environment over there in Chicago.
Yeah, New York isn't any better. I remember when I visited there in 1989, there was a driver's side window broke out of a car. And there was a sign in the car that said, "Nothing here to steal." And somebody left a sign that said, "Just checking." So
just checking.
You're those big cities that you just love.
Well, I do, but that's just parts of the city. It's not the whole, and that was a long time ago, too. And it's like,
it's probably worse.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Got more to get to with the legendary Mark Rosen. Tennessee has a keyword, though, for us, I believe. Tennessee, what you got?
Yeah, the fan and 2 men on a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword dollar at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That keyword is dollar. Enter now at KFAN.com. Join KFAN's Justin Guard this Sunday for a Vikings watch party unlike any other at the all-new Hop House at Mystic Lake Casino. Don't miss a minute of the action on the giant wall TV displays. Enjoy the best seats, food and beverages, trivia, and prize giveaways all game long, hosted by JG. The party kicks off at noon. Get the details at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program. How's that Twitter war going between you and PA, by the way?
Oh, it's getting worse.
Because
ratcheted it up.
For those that aren't aware of it, you were annoyed that
I wasn't annoyed
that PA was talking about Fran Tarkenton.
I get annoyed with you
that he lost his first 4 starts.
Right.
He's PA spin doctoring J.J. McCarthy's, or as we like to call him, Nine's struggles.
Right.
And he said, well, look at Fran Tarkenton, his first 4 starts. And then you went.
He cited a whole bunch of other quarterbacks.
Yeah,
too.
and then you went, well,
Josh
wait
Allen.
a minute.
Yeah.
Fran came off the bench.
Correct.
In relief of George Shaw.
Yep.
In the very first Vikings game ever back in 1961 against the Bears.
Right.
And led them to victory by throwing not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdown passes, I think. And then you declared it as one of the biggest upsets in the history of pro football, said the Vikings were probably 24-point underdogs. Nate, who also goes by Ben Hogan Guy, looked up the Bears spread in the 61 Tarkenton game.
They had a spread? Oh.
Pro Football Reference says the Bears were 10-point favorites.
Oh, I doubt.
So it wasn't 20. Well, he says Pro Football Reference. So you, in trying to make it a
favorites?
Paul Bunyan, larger than life kind of.
Look at the rest of the Vikings record that year, and how do you have them as 10-point favorites as established one of the best teams in the league?
The Vikings won.
I know, but they won 2 more games the rest of the year with a bunch of rag muffin football players that basically were signed off the street. And Tarkenton never duplicated that the rest of the year.
You had the
Vikings. Didn't throw the ball very much,
You had the Vikings as 44-point underdogs.
I did not. 24.
24, you said. And they were only 10-point underdogs.
I don't believe that.
Well, look it up.
I will. I don't even know if they had, I was, how old?
I was a Ben Hogan guy.
9 years old.
I can show you what he sent me.
No, I don't.
He might be making it up.
Well, I just can't. I cannot believe that for an expansion team that the Chicago Bears with Papa George Halas and the team that they had, the Vikings would have only been 10-point underdogs. But if that's the case, then so be it. But,
so it wasn't that big of a deal, in other words.
Well, actually, it was. Most people look at it at that time, and because when they played them again, that was it. The Vikings didn't play really very well. They never duplicated that, and Tarkenton wasn't that good the rest of the year.
That was Miracle on Ice before Miracle on Ice, is what it was.
1961. I think I was actually with my parents that day at a
the
movie.
game?
No. I got tickets. I've regaled the story. I mean, I was only 9 years old then, but I got season tickets, student season tickets for the Vikings. My mom and dad had season tickets, and they sat in the left field bleachers, basically, where, the outfield for baseball. But I only had to pay. They had student tickets for $1 a ticket, and we sat behind the third base dugout, basically in the end zone, and I would go there with a buddy, and we'd sit out there, for the game, and that's before they had the net that would be up there for when Fred Cox would try a field goal or something. Dick Jankowski was the usher, and somebody would catch the football, and they'd say, "Hey, you got to throw the football back." You couldn't keep it, so the ball would sail into the stands. But then the kid who caught it many times would realize the ball's worth a lot more than my ticket, so he'd run out of the stadium with the football.
Correct.
And that's sort of how that all became. That was long before they had the net that came up there. But yeah, student season tickets, except for the Packer game. We weren't allowed to buy tickets for that game, but it was $1 a ticket. Think about it. They were fun seats.
Fraud Father strikes again. There's never been an NFL game that I'm aware of with a 24-point spread.
Well, there may not have been. I mean,
you just wanted to.
Well, the Vikings were 17-point favorites.
They were.
Weren't they? What was the Super Bowl against? They were big favorites, and then obviously, what were the Jets?
18-point underdogs against Baltimore.
That's a pretty big one. Yeah, they probably were not. Maybe they weren't 24. I don't know. I don't think anyone paid attention to point spreads back there unless you're a bookie.
Biggest point spread in the history of NFL is 28. Oh. Broncos and Jaguars, 2013, Week 6.
Wow, not that long ago. Was that Jacksonville's expansion year? I don't know.
No, they were expansion before then.
I assume so. Why were they such huge favorites? 28?
Going into the game, the Broncos were averaging 46 points per game, while the Jaguars were averaging 10.2.
Wow.
That would make sense.
There you go.
This text message says, for a guy who's moving to Chicago, meaning you,
I'm not moving
it's a bold move to start a feud with the new voice of the Cubs.
And I didn't start a feud with them. And congratulations to PA for becoming the voice of the Cubs.
I always love that one.
In the great tradition of Harry Carey. I mean,
that's what
PA is
Warren reported.
Warren, of all people, Warren's never wrong. Just ask Brodee.
Well, what if Warren is right about this one? We don't know. I mean, PA wouldn't say anything now. He's going to wait till the end of the season.
No, why would he?
Announced that he's the new voice.
I mean, Vikings are probably not playoff
He's
bound.
very Harry Carey-like. You've seen him. He's a national treasure. He gets wild and crazy in the booth.
Yeah,
he'd be a perfect fit.
You got to tell a lot. You got to have a good sidekick to tell a lot of stories when you're doing a baseball game. You don't have a lot of. You got a lot of extra breathing. When you don't have.
Steve Stone would probably work with him.
Steve Stone. Oh, those were the days at Rig.
Old Wrigley Field. And then, at Wrigley, you only have 4 days, so that's nice because they don't have any lights there. So, got that going for you, which is nice.
Yes.
Tomorrow night, Minnesota Golden Gophers will be playing Oregon. They
Speaking of underdogs, underdogs.
They did not fare very well against Ohio State. That's to be expected. Ohio State hasn't really struggled with anybody to this point. They're the number 1 team in the country. They had what I still consider a pretty embarrassing performance against Iowa. And Iowa's they're a decent club. There's nothing wrong with them. After that win, I think they suddenly jumped into the top 25 and ranked 20th in the country.
Right.
But, as we know, it was 41-3, I think was the final. So they've had 2 really lopsided games. This one on paper looks like it could be the 3rd lopsided game. What are your thoughts? What do you think's going to happen away?
Well, again, what's Oregon, 20-something point favorites in that game? Minnesota doesn't play well on the road, number 1, as we saw against Iowa. There's no reason to believe that they're going to turn it around. I know they've had some time to work on some things, but talent is talent, and Oregon is loaded with a lot more than Minnesota has, and their speed, and that's usually the great divide between a team like Minnesota and what a team like Oregon. They have a track team out there, and I don't see the Gophers staying. I mean, I'd be shocked, be pleasantly surprised. I hope they can hang with them, but I highly doubt it. I don't know. I just think they're at a different level. I mean, that's just the world of nil and the athletes you can recruit, and Minnesota's inability to play real well on the road against most
Do we
teams.
know it's all nil money with Oregon? I mean, they've been pretty good for a while now.
They
And
have
nil money
been,
hasn't. How long has nil money been around?
Or
now?
Nike money.
How long has nil money been around? I mean, I honestly, I don't even remember. Has that been 1 year, 2, 10? I don't even know anymore.
I would say like 4 or 5.
4 or 5 years. So maybe that's probably. And
Well,
did that coincide with Oregon starting getting better?
Yeah,
or did they get better before
I think it's a
that?
combination. But
They were good before nil.
They were.
They had that Nike money.
They have the Nike money, and they
By
have
the
the
way,
facilities.
Timmy, someone is texting to the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line. So what was the final outcome of the Broncos-Jags game? Don't leave us hanging.
Oh, Jaguars actually covered the spread. They only lost
did?
by 16.
Oh.
Wow.
And by the way, Ryan texts, the Bears were favored by 13 in that game.
Oh.
So take that, Ben Hogan guy who said they were 10-point games.
Yeah,
They
no,
were
it keeps going up.
13. Yeah.
Yes!
Maybe by the time the show ends, it'll be 24
Well, as it
points.
turned out, the Vikings, I think they put up 30-something against them, and Francis came off the bench, and long before he and Van Brocken were at each other's throats and forced the trade of Fran to the Giants, and before he came back and helped win the 3 Super Bowls.
4.
Okay.
Okay, PA. You're supposed to say okay, PA.
Okay, PA.
Because he thought that Fran quarterback.
Well, he wasn't around for...
Joe Cap,
My
40
guy.
for 60 and 70.
Man. What a character.
We'll take a break, come back, one more segment to go. We'll get Mark's thoughts. It's his last appearance on the program this week. We'll get his thoughts on Bears-Vikings, a game you'll hear on this radio station. Coverage at 10, the Boom at 12 noon here on the Fan.
Make it a night out with the Wild. The Vegas Golden Knights hit the ice at Grand Casino Arena this Sunday. Snag your bottomless Yeti ticket pack or support a great cause with the Hockey Fights Cancer Pack. Get yours now at wild.com/tickets.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program on Comedies Tend to Be. Mark Rosen, the final segment of the day, and for us, and Rosen's final segment of the week here on the Grum. One more text message. This one says it was a 10-point spread on 9/17/61 between the Bears and Vikings, according to the Fish Wrap East. Rosie brags of how great the Bears were that year. They went 8-6.
Well, coming off whatever they came off of, I'm just talking about the fact that the first game of the season,
I think you're building that game up to be even bigger than it really was.
I don't remember it. I mean, I really don't. I just remember hearing about it because I wasn't watching. I don't think the game wasn't televised. I don't believe.
You know, the legends grow after a while.
Of course they do, but
that's what this. You've grown this one as long as Pinocchio's.
I think the
knows.
Vikings were, like I said, in their first Super Bowl against Kansas City. I think the Vikings were like 17-point favorites. Maybe someone will correct me on that. I'm just saying, but that wasn't the discussion about the fact that it was more about Fran. That he came off the bench. That
right.
Van Brocken didn't. George Shaw wasn't moving the ball, and Fran thought he was going to start that game, and he didn't, and he was upset about that. One of many times he got really upset with Van Brocken and brought him off the bench, and that was it. And then the Vikings were pretty lousy the rest of the year. As most expansion teams were. Tana was just talking about Jacksonville and how they, even they were bigger underdogs. I'm just saying at that time it seemed like it was people still talk about it in the context that they beat George Halas with Van Brocken, the coach, and a rookie quarterback coming off the bench to throw 4 touchdown passes. That was the point.
Vikings take on the Bears.
Yes.
A little bit different than 1961, but
bit.
it is Vikings-Bears. It will be played indoors, which was unheard of back then.
Correct.
Be at U.S. Bank Stadium. Tenneby and I talked about this earlier. CBS Sports put together they were grading the NFL quarterbacks that are on rookie deals. Drake May got an A+, Caleb Williams a B, and it goes on down the line. And
from last year or for this second year? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Just they're on rookie deals. So anytime in the last 5 years.
Deals. I thought you were...
No, they're all on rookie deals.
Got it.
So, hold on. So they're grading the quarterbacks on the rookie deals, including Drake May. He's an A+.
Right.
Caleb Williams is a B. And the list goes on and on and on until you get down to J.J. McCarthy, and they grade him as an F. It says, McCarthy has more interceptions, 6, than tutties, 5. has the lowest completion percentage in the entire NFL through 4 starts at 53.7%. And his sack pace, extrapolated to 17 games, would be the 6th most all time. It's important to reiterate, though, that it's only 4 starts in the first 4 of his career at that. If you're looking for encouraging signs, you'll find a couple of throws a game, but not any extended stretch of play to warrant a grade higher than this. And I brought it up. Part of the reason was, as Tenenby and I have been, seemingly every day we do a segment or two where we talk about, McCarthy and his progress or lack thereof as he plays. And we seem to get attacked a lot by listeners who are basically, well, I don't know what they're reading into whatever we're saying as to, like, we think McCarthy should be cut, that he, and it couldn't be a further thing than the truth.
There's never any nuance. It's always extremes.
Yeah. All we've said is
welcome to fan bases.
He's been struggling.
Yeah.
And there are a number of reasons why. I mean, we know. I mean, he's 22. He missed all of last year to injury. His first 2 games, he played one pretty well in the fourth quarter, wasn't very good the next, got the sprained ankle, missed 5, and he's had pretty good game against Detroit, at least some good moments. And then it didn't go as well. That first drive went really nice for the Vikings against Baltimore, and after that, there wasn't much. So while I look at that, I think that's probably fair, but I also think you could give him an incomplete because obviously he is just starting his career. I saw where in his midweek news conference, O'Connell talked about how the progress or lack thereof that McCarthy's been making to this point. And I think one thing they're pointing to this week, according to what I read today, is they're seeing the Bears for the second time. So there were things that he did well against the Bears, obviously that fourth quarter, things he didn't do so well the third quarter. They're hoping that the second time around, that's the experience. You're playing a team now for the second time. You've played them before, and maybe this will help him start getting, consistency is the word they're using a lot. They need him to be more consistent. And like O'Connell says, but when you're trying to go 1-0 this week, there's some growing pains.
Yeah, and I think now you got to throw in and I hope this doesn't become a talker on Sunday afternoon. The fact that McCarthy's now wearing a bandage on his right hand that he bonked off of someone's helmet the other day. And, at least when the media has access to the practices, he wasn't throwing the ball much. I'm thinking, oh, boy. So, I'm saying I hope you're either healthy enough to play, you have to tough it out. You're healthy enough to play. I mean, I've seen quarterbacks do this a lot. And if he sails another pass over JJ's head, people are going, well, his hand is not right. Well, no, then don't play. I mean, if your hand's not right, don't play. You can't sacrifice this game when you're especially divisional game. So, I mean, there's a lot of other elements. You can't deny anything what you said. I mean, McCarthy is going through growing pains, which a lot of people expected. Maybe more so than even what we expected. He's shown flashes. That's it. But it's obviously a work in progress. And they have to do other things that, I mean, you can't turn the ball over. You can't have a -3 turnover ratio. The defense can't go game after game after game without getting interceptions. They've had 3 this year. In order to give J.J. McCarthy and the offense a short field once in a while. Turnovers and big plays. It's something that's a mantra that's been recited over and over and over again that end up deciding games. Not all of them have been, obviously the kick returner, Price, that was a huge play, fumbling the kick return. That wasn't J.J. McCarthy's fault, but it put the Vikings defense on their heels against a really good fundamental team like Baltimore. You're going to lose games like that against the better team. So it's incumbent upon the team to do the rest of the things at a much higher clip. You can't have 12 bleeping penalties and 8 of them being false starts and expect to win at home. The Vikings are 1-3 at home right now? U.S. Bank's supposed to be this great home field advantage. The Skol chant, everybody gets wound up and, making it really tough for, this week, Caleb Williams and the Bears offense. You got to do the little things right. And right now, this team is not doing the little things right, compounding the fact that McCarthy's struggling to kind of find his rhythm. So it's always more than one thing, but there's no denying the fact that McCarthy has not found a constant rhythm to what he needs to do to help this team win games.
The 1960 Bears finished 5-6-1.
Why are we still talking about that?
Because you keep changing the story as we go along.
No, I'm not changing the story.
We're coming off how good the Bears were the year before.
My God. What I'm talking about is the fact that it had to do with Fran Tarkenton and rookie quarterbacks, and that's all it was talking about. And it turned into a lot more than that. Look at Fran's record the next how many weeks that he played, and the Vikings record.
Mark, what was the spread on David versus Goliath?
I believe Goliath was.
No, I think it was. What do they call it when they don't even take a line?
Yeah, it was off the board.
Off the board. I think David versus Goliath was off the board.
Well, they didn't realize that slingshot was going to be as powerful as it was.
Yeah. And how accurate it is. Much more accurate than McCarthy.
Well, yeah. He didn't overthrow Goliath, did he?
Hit him right between the eyes. Just like that.
That's a great analogy.
Right between the eyes.
Knocked him out. Down goes Goliath.
So, and again, it's almost like it's just easy to get these McCarthyites going. I mean, you're comparing this guy. I said, I'm not doing the comparing. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading what CBS Sports wrote in a piece that they did. They were grading the quarterbacks. They gave McCarthy a rookie quarterback, quarterbacks on a rookie deal. Don't blame me.
And we know a lot of those guys struggled last year. I mean, obviously, what's going on in New England? I mean, they didn't have a very good team last year.
No, they didn't.
And, quarterback's a different quarterback this year. Bo Nix is still struggling, but Denver's winning games because their defense has been lights out, and they have a really good running game. That might be a good idea this week. And the Bears have been opportunistic, and that's why I give Chicago a good chance of winning this game on Sunday. They don't mess around. They hang around and they don't look good. They probably should have lost the game to the Giants last week. Vikings already beat them. This is why it's so important. The Vikings have 8 games left?
Well, here's what this says.
Okay.
Text messenger says, if there is a must-win game, this is a must-win. There's 7.5% chance of making the playoffs or whatever it is, and the 2% chance of winning the division are both 0% if they lose this Saturday. It is a must-win game.
Well, yeah, it is. And I think that, even Ben talked about that today. I mean, Ben Johnson talked about it, that the Vikings are 2-0 in the division. That's what gives them hope. They have to run the table, honestly, against the Bears. They play the Packers the following week. They're having a mighty struggle right now offensively. Some people are calling for LaFleur's head, for crying out loud, which is asinine in Green Bay. But Jordan Love isn't exactly tearing it up right now in Green Bay with their offense. And, they play the Giants this Sunday, I believe, right? We talked about that in Spread Swing, I think, a little bit. But the Vikings have to find a way of beating the Bears again, beat the Packers twice, and they play
beat the Kitties on Christmas.
On Christmas here. I mean, that gives you a chance.
Jolly old St. Nicholas.
But I think fans, you just have to be realistic about
tell a single soul what I'm going to say.
Correct.
Brodee, you're on the fan.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Well, so I heard, my buddy told me that Rosen was calling me out on the air today.
Well, just right now, I just said something. I don't know. I wasn't calling you out. I just was talking about you. I'm sure
he was calling out PA on Twitter the other day, and now he's calling you out. He's the very feisty Mark Rosen, calling people out all the time.
I was calling you. I was basically sending the bat signal out for you.
Yeah, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about. You got a lot of nerves.
Who, me?
Calling out PA like that. Yeah.
Why? Facts.
You know so much just because you're old and you've been watching the team for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, just facts get in the way of a story. I mean, what?
There's nobody better than PA.
I agree with you.
Better than PA.
I 100% think he's one of the best play-by-play guys I've ever.
He's the very best, and he's the most talented person at the fan.
He is. So what does that have to do with what I said?
You're probably the one that started that rumor that Moron was talking about PA going to the Cubs.
I don't know if that's a rumor, Brodee. I think there might be some truth to that. That's what my sources are telling me. He's on his way to Chicago. Money?
They already have a radio guy.
Well,
all the teams.
And then they have the other guy.
Maybe not for long.
Why would they? Come on now. You got to think about it.
Just think about every wild pitch. It's loose.
Yeah, the old Cubs.
He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. I know, because I got a cousin who lives in Chicago, and he says they like the radio people there.
All right, very good.
That's great. No, I don't think he's going to go.
What's wrong with your club this year? I thought you told me that McCarthy was the answer. The club was going to be good. They were going to the big game. We should all be Scolders. The hell were you drinking?
And that's the other thing. What's with that guy giving McCarthy an F? He won the offensive player of the week. You don't get an F if you win. That means he was the best offensive player of that week.
Yeah, he was for one quarter.
How was that an F?
Well, they're judging his entire
his body of work.
Who won the game, Mark?
I don't remember.
Hello?
Yeah, the Vikings won the game, Brodee. We all know the Vikings won the game, and McCarthy played a great fourth quarter, and then he fell on his face a couple games. So that's to be expected.
When they gave you a job at WCCO, were you really good in your first time?
But I wasn't.
Never spent a day in the minors.
I wasn't starting. I was in the background doing the dirty work, the writing and putting numbers on
your job right away.
When I went on the air, I was damn good.
He was really good.
When you first got on the air, were you able to read that teleprompter that people wrote stuff for you for?
They didn't have a teleprompter then, Brodee.
Brodee, you're talking about a Hall of Famer here, so I don't know if you want to start comparing J.J. McCarthy to Hall of Famers.
Yeah, come on. Let's be realistic here. I didn't have a teleprompter.
Did you ever see Did you see Joe Montana in his first season? Or Steve Young?
I was at the game.
Josh Allen?
I was at the game when they benched Joe Montana because the Vikings were kicking the crap out of him in 1987. They had to put Steve Young in the game as his backup. Yes, I remember. Not going to fool me, Brodee.
So you just jumped to the one season when he played bad, not the Super Bowl if he won. Okay, that's a good one. You know what? I'm tired of your nonsense. And how can you always talk to Warren? And I can never get through on this phone.
Talk to the producer.
Yeah, Warren's always on your air.
Because he knows football.
He tells us things nobody else is talking about.
Yeah, he brings up things.
You're just a homer. All you do is do homer stuff.
That's not true. I have a very objective analysis.
Brodee. All right, we got to go.
All right, Brodee. You have a good weekend.
Like fake laughs. I don't even think they were real. All right, I got to go. Bye.
I always love that one.
Brodee.
I don't want to hang up on him.
Did you hang up on him?
How about my guy Frankie Sappin tied for second?
Is he? Where?
They're playing in the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. Adam Hadwin has the lead.
Nice to hear that.
At -6.
Yeah. Good for Frankie.
And Frankie's at -4, a couple back.
Well, he's just, again, he's young on the tour. I mean, it's different when you're playing an individual sport as opposed to a team sport. But
it is?
Well, I would think so. I mean, he's not relying on anybody else other than his caddy to kind of put him in position to succeed. He doesn't have
he and I, Frankie Sappin and I share the same swing coach.
Well, that's about the only thing you guys have in common.
We share the same swing coach.
Well.
Yep.
Go Frankie.
We share the same. So
I'm guessing your swing coach finds things when he's working with you and goes, I should teach this to Frankie the way the common swing in this club here.
Here's all you really need to know. Craig once said to me, with my elite players, I teach them how to breathe properly. And I said, well, you've never taught me how to breathe properly. Guess that's all you need to know.
That's it.
So you like the Vikings. You think they win this week, right?
Cautionary tale. I mean, I think that they don't turn the damn ball over. They should win the game. I mean, Tenna's picked them in spread swing. They should beat them. I mean, the Bears been living a charmed life, but a lot of it they've earned it. They've put themselves in a position by getting those turnovers, by making the big play. But I would think that Will Reichert could be the difference maker in this game. I don't expect it to be anything more than what typical Vikings Bears game.
Yep.
Probably a 17-14 type game. Maybe, I don't know.
You'll be there.
I will. Pre-game show at 9:30 on Fox 9. Thanks for asking.
And here on this radio, so you audio home of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
Pre-game starts at 10, boom at 12 noon. We'll see you next Tuesday at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Looks like a good one.
You too. Yep. Thanks, Legendary One. Jenna B, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job tomorrow for Password. Tommy Olson and Zach Halverson.
Oh, yeah. High energy Halvey. In the really low-key Tommy Olson, the unexcitable boy. We'll talk to you around 12 noon. Stick around. Big Ticket and Brett Blakemore are next here on the phone.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
That's for me to know and you to find out.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.